Good morning, good morning. So, what are the three mistakes that people make when they are looking for a job? This is James Foster in Careers Matter. So yesterday and the day before we looked at, yesterday we looked at the three things that you need to do to get a job that you really want. And on Monday, I talked about how you could go through the rest of your career without ever needing to look for a job again. So to sort of keep this theme going of the job search and how you actually go out and find your job, I wanted to talk about the three big mistakes that I see that people make when they are job searching. I'm going to do these, I've written them in my notes in a certain order. I'm going to do these in the reverse order of what I've actually written them. The first big mistake that I think people make is that they stop looking for a job when it's not the highest priority, or when they've just got into a new job and they completely turn off from looking for a job. Now, let's be clear. What I'm saying here is I'm not saying that every time you're looking at a job you should be applying for jobs. That's not what I mean here. What I'm talking about is that the manner in which you look for a job should be a constant process all the way through your career. You should always have an eye open onto where your next job is, what it needs to be, and the preparation and planning that needs to go in to secure that next job. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be on day one, you just got into a job, you're going to apply for a job. Let's be absolutely clear. What it means is that you're looking to where the next job is. You've got this one, where are you going next? I know you might say, oh, I've just got in here. Why should I be planning for the next job? Because it's about career planning. It's about making sure that you are greasing the wheels, whatever it is you want, whatever picture you want to put for this. But that you are, good morning, Angela. But that you are always preparing the way forward for the next opportunity. So when you get in, you've started your job, you are really happy with it. It's great. Good morning, Dilwa. It's really great. You're excited by it, but don't take the brakes off the whole process of preparing yourself for the next position, the next move, the next change in your life. And that comes, that's because there are several aspects to job search that are a constant, ongoing thing. One of those, for example, is networking. You constantly networking, because by constantly networking, you're keeping yourself right up in the mindset of the people that are likely to be employing you in the future. And so when just the mere act of getting into a new job and telling everybody about your new job and telling them how excited you are and telling them about what you're going to be doing, that's actually preparing the way for your future career move. And throughout the job that you're in, constantly talking and bringing to people's attention the challenges, the activity, where it's commercially sensitive to do that, to keep people aware of your activity so that they know that you're there. This is preparation and planning for your next career move. So it's also about constantly keeping an eye and a vigil for what the market is about and where the trends are going and what your career development plan could be looking like, and exactly having in mind the next move, even from the start of the first move, having in mind the end of that move and the change into the step up or the step along, etc., etc. And it's also about planning capability. What capabilities am I going to need to have, and how do I get those capabilities? So there's a constancy to the job market. And the mistake I see people make, and I see it all the time, is that they're not constantly thinking of the job market. They're not constantly thinking of their career, is probably a better way of putting it. They're not constantly thinking of their career development, where their career is going to be leading, and what they need to be putting in place to get their career to the next level. As I say, it's not always about applying for jobs all the time. It's about preparing and planning and getting the capability and knowing where you're going and communicating effectively. Those are the constant things that you should always be doing in regards to your career and career management. That's the first big mistake that I see people make. The second mistake is, now we're going to come down to the actual job search itself. You're now looking for a job. You now need a job. You now want to take the break and move into something different, whether that's because that's forced on you or whether it's just time for a career change or not. The big mistake that I see people make is they do not focus the search. And how do I see this? How does this come across to me as a recruiter? I can quite clearly see that people are really going about their job search in a scattergun approach. It's sending their CV anywhere without any thought or preparation or planning. I need a job. Let's go and get a job. There. There's no focus. There's nothing going behind it that's putting any intelligence into the search. The whole point of a job search is it's the word search. It's not let's just find a job. It's let's find the right job. And we talked about this earlier on in the week yesterday. The 3 things you need to do to get the job you really want, where we talked about determining what values, etc., etc. I'm not going to go over that again, but this whole point is that people don't focus their attention on where they want to go. Mostly they're just looking at the active job market. What jobs are available? They're throwing their jobs out onto job boards. They're promoting, if you like, themselves on LinkedIn a little bit, but there's no search, there's no focus, there's no direction in where that should be and what that should be about, and the people and the companies. There's no focus. And finally, the third big mistake, and this is probably this may be time pressures, this may be for all sorts of other reasons, but people just don't prepare effectively at any stage along the job search process. You're going out into market. I've just said there's no focus on where the job's going, and that's lack of preparation. Their CV. Somebody applied to me the other day, and this doesn't imply any real criticism of the person, but he applied to me the other day for a job, and the first thing he had to do when we'd spoken about it was update his CV. Frankly, this is all part of that constancy. Your CV should always be up to date. The only thing you need to do with your CV is target it. And focus it on the job that you're going for. So yes, you do need to spend half an hour or so on your CV just to make sure that it really reflects the job that you're going for, and that's part of the preparation for your job process, for the job search process as well. But your CV should always be ready to go. You'd never ever know when you're going to need it, frankly, in any particular market. We all know that companies can be changing all the time and restructuring, and you may fall victim to that. So be ready. But when it's actually the job search itself, be prepared and prepare for the job search. Get your CV up to date. Going along to what I talked about yesterday, know where your focus is in terms of the value that you bring. Have those presentations ready to go. The presentations that talk about the value that you bring into an organisation. Have your planning, when you're doing the job search, make sure that you know exactly the clients, the companies. Have the lists, get your lists ready for who you want to contact. Start doing the market research. This is sort of mixing in with the previous one, which is about focus, but do your market research. I want to go after company A, B, C, D. What are those companies doing at the moment? What is it that they're about? What's important to them? Even, it doesn't matter what activity that might be driving recruitment, just knowing something about what the companies are about, so that when you can communicate with these companies, it is clear that you've done some research and it is clear that you've had an interest in what's going on. Know something about the hiring manager or the potential hiring manager. Know something about the people involved in the company. Do a bit of research. It is so easy today to do this. It's, in days gone by, back in the 80s and 90s, before social media, when I was doing a lot of my earlier job search, it was much more difficult to actually find out about the people that were involved. That meant having to talk to other people who knew them and finding out who might know them. These days, a bit of research on LinkedIn will give you an awful lot of information. Google search can give you an awful lot of it. There's so many ways to do the preparation. So be prepared. Make sure that you have got the information that is going to help you to promote yourself above the rest of the market. This way, you stand the better chance of getting into that job market effectively and securing the job that you really want. I can't overemphasize this, that the haphazard approach that I see most people make to a job search, it really is sort of leaving everything to chance. The CV goes out, it gets picked up or it doesn't get picked up. If it gets picked up, they get an interview or they don't get an interview. If they get an interview, they're successful or they're not successful. There's not much goes into the whole process. And then people complain that they can't find a job. It's ridiculous. You wouldn't do. Why people do this is beyond me. Why people do not put the effort in to really focusing their attention, to really understanding the market, to knowing the people that they're going to be dealing with, to have input. The best research or the most research that I guess 70-80% of people do is they go on the site, they go on the website and have a look to see what's hot on the website. That's not research. That's the bare minimum. The most they do for their CV is make sure that they've updated their last job. That's not preparation of your documentation. That's not focusing your CV. Really have got to start thinking of doing things in a much more structured way when it comes to your job, your career, if you really want an effective career strategy. As always, there will be with this video a link that will enable you to schedule a 20-minute conversation with me to talk about your career and about how you can actually move your career to the next level and what you need to put into place. Now, that all won't take place in a quick 20-minute call, but it's that introductory call where we can talk about what the sorts of things that you need to be considering and looking at, and then maybe we can take that further. This is James Foster and Careers Matter.